Welcome to the Knitter's Gotta Knit podcast. This is
12.
Stitch number 12.
Stitch number 12. Welcome to the first podcast of the new year.
And
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year. Hope you had a great Christmas and the whole 9 yards. I'm Carrie on Ravelry. My name is I'm a Knitfomaniac, and on Instagram I'm just Knitfomaniac.
And I'm Awesome Granny on Ravelry and Bags by Awesome Granny on Instagram. And so I said last time that the first episode of the year, Peyton was going to be here. Mm-hmm. Well, she's not here. So sorry, Peyton. And the reason is because we were scheduled to podcast this coming Saturday. Right. And this coming Saturday we're having Christmas with our kids and stuff. So I have family here. Yeah. And then next weekend Carrie's out of town. I am. And so we wanted to get one in before the end of the month. So I told Peyton that the first one that we do on Saturday,
she'll come. So I think it comes out to like the 20th or something. I can look it up.
But I want to explain why we do our Christmas the way we do it. So Bruce and I had Christmas we always spend Christmas Eve with our daughter and her family on Christmas Eve. But as far as our family Christmas, when Bruce and I were, young married and our kids were little, we all lived in Amarillo, and my family lived in Amarillo and Bruce's family lived in Amarillo. And it was just such a nightmare going from, everybody that has, a spouse and the spouse's family can relate. It's just miserable. It makes the holidays no stressful. Fun and very stressful when you're trying to lug kids around and stuff. So I always told Bruce, but when our kids were little, I told him, I said, when our kids get married, I will not do our kids' Christmas that way. I'm not going to stress our kids out on the Christmas. So Casey was the first one to get married, and the year he got married, that was when we quit having Christmas on Christmas. And we have always had Christmas the weekend, like the first weekend in January or something, right. And because to me and Bruce,
it's almost always afterwards.
Yeah, it's always after Christmas. And because to Bruce and I, we don't really care when we have it. We just want everyone together. So, so
that makes sense. I think that's a perfect way to do it.
And it works out for the kids because, Shyla can go do Tim's stuff and with his family, and Casey can do his stuff with, his Houston bunch, and Chase and Jamie, and plus my kids all live, they don't all live right here. Right. But that wasn't the reason we started doing it. We started doing it because,
you just didn't want to stress them out.
I just didn't want to stress them out. So we always do Christmas, a week or two after everybody. And plus, we have to work around all the kids' schedule and stuff. So, yeah. So we're having Christmas this weekend.
So I should say we're podcasting on a Thursday evening. Yes. I'm not sure that I'm going to get this edited and uploaded tonight. I'm hoping to. Maybe it can upload, like overnight while I'm sleeping or something and magically appear. But it might be Friday before I get it all finished. It just depends on how much editing I have to do and things of that nature. So we are podcasting on a Thursday night and weeknight and stuff, so that's why Peyton can't be here. Yeah, and they're having their family celebration. So,
but she'll be here the first weekend that we can,
which I think will be about the 20th. I think the 20th is what it looks like. So hopefully we'll be podcasting again on the 20th.
Yeah, I hope so. So, how was your New Year's and your Christmas?
It was great. I have a great time at my parents' house. I'm very fortunate to still have both my parents, and even though they're getting up there in age, and my sister and her family and me and my family, we all go to my parents' house. Well, first we go to church. We go to a children's service because, now my parents have grandkids and great-grandkids, and so we go to a children's service around 3 in the afternoon, Christmas Eve, and then we go to my parents' house and have a Christmas meal, and then we open presents and everything, and then everybody gets to go home kind of early because people have to put children to bed for Santa and to come and things of that nature, make cookies and put out the milk and whatever. So, and then Christmas Day, I'm usually just chilling by myself at home, which is perfectly fine with me. But this year, Antonio and Paige came over for a little while Christmas Day, which was really nice, and then hung out and played with some of Antonio's gifts. And then for New Year's, I was in bed way before midnight. I think I went to bed at 10:30. But I was awoken at midnight. So I was awake at midnight. I think the fireworks are just getting louder and louder the way that they're making them, or maybe you're just able to purchase ones that are fancier than they have been in past years. But I've lived in this house for 18, 19 years now. I did leave for a little while, lived in a different house and came back. But I remember, you know, all 4th of July's and Christmas and New Year's Eve's at this house with fireworks. And I don't ever remember them being that loud. I mean, we
got woke up too.
They were so loud. And I can pride myself on my sleeping abilities. I've told people all my life, if I could get paid to sleep, I would be a millionaire. I mean, I can fall asleep like that, and a train has to come through here to wake me up. So for me to have woken up, not only was Precious going crazy because it was so loud, but for me to have woken up, you knew it was loud.
It's funny, Ken's Five is our one of our local news stations, and it's the one that Bruce and we watch. And it was funny because they were doing a panoramic view of the city, you know, and they were like, look at all those illegal fireworks. I mean, the city was just, you know, the city was just like, I mean, it was really beautiful, and that's what the newscaster said. He said, it's really beautiful, and even though we know it's illegal, it's really beautiful, because I mean, it was the entire city. The entire city was.
Oh, trust me, it felt like the entire city camped out at my bedroom window and popped them all off at that window.
Yeah,
it was so loud.
And it's so frustrating because, you know, it wasn't as bad on, you know, this year as, you know, like it can be at the 4th of July. If the 4th of July is on a Tuesday, and then you have to get up and go to work the next day, then you're like being, you know, the stupid fireworks are keeping you up and and stuff. And so I'm not a fan of fireworks anyway. And so it's, you know, it's like more of a frustration thing for us than it is enjoyment.
I think they're beautiful, and you know, but I could do without them as well. But I know my grandkids like them, so I know. But you know, Antonio likes the real easy ones. He likes the smoke bombs. I mean, you just light it and it makes smoke. That's it. There's no noise. And he likes the little poppers that you just throw on the ground. You just like, there's no fire, there's no lighting, there's no punk or whatever. You just take them, and they're little rocks in a little thing, and you just throw them on the ground and they make a popping noise. I mean, he's so easy.
You know, when you said punk, it made me think when we were kids, you know, long time ago, and Mom and Daddy would buy us fireworks. They, you know, we didn't get the punks, you know, to light them with, but Daddy would give us all a cigarette. And that's what we used to light.
That's awesome.
We would all, you know, like,
hey, that works.
We could have a cigarette once a year.
And you know what? I haven't bought fireworks in many, many years. And speaking of punks, punks are that stick thing that you light, and then it's like an incense candle, but there's no scent, or an incense stick, but with no scent, and it stays red at the end, and you can use it to light everything. This year I went and I did get Antonio like just this little pack of like $30 or $40 worth of fireworks for him and Paige to go pop and stuff, and they gave me a pack of punks. Those things were like candles. They were like, I mean, they were the same material as before. They weren't wax like candles, but I mean, they were about dime size. Well, maybe a little smaller than a dime, but they were thick. And I thought, well, not going to let those go out, you know, because sometimes they'll go out, or, you know, it's too cold.
We have never bought our grandkids fireworks, and we never bought our kids fireworks.
Wow.
We were like, we're not throwing money away. If we're going to burn money up, you know, might as well go, you know.
Do it with something else. No, I have. I've done the firework thing and stuff like that. So, but, yeah, that's my New Year's.
That's pretty much what ours was, too. I was happy to hear, you know, that, you always worry about, like, people being out on the road and stuff. And I was happy that Shyla and Tim, you know, stayed home. You know, they didn't like go anywhere. And Casey and Cecilia and all the kids, they went to Cecilia's house, which I think Casey said was, Cecilia's sister's house, which I think Casey said it was like 5 miles from his house. So they didn't like go far away. Because, you know, I just worry about, you know, stupid people doing stupid stuff on New Year's.
Paige was home, and her friends came to her house.
That's good.
Sam came with her 2 kids, and Bizzle came, and I think Terry even went, and they did stuff at Paige's house. Tara is the one that used to live with me.
Tara. Okay, Tara.
And Sam brought like a fire pit for her to put on her back patio. Paige loves it now. She wants to get one, but we're gonna have to wait till she does need to get a car, so we're going to have to wait till she gets a new car. We're waiting for the check from Geico. They did total out her car from her accident on the 23rd of December, which I think was right when we were podcasting. I mentioned it. But
did you? Oh, yeah. I
guess you did.
Yeah, okay.
Because it had just happened. We podcast on Saturday, and it had happened at 3 in the morning that Saturday.
That's right. Right.
So she does need to get a new car, and so she's not getting a fire pit right now, but she did enjoy that. And they all went to her house.
Bruce made Shyla a fire pit a few years ago, and her and Tim use that thing all the time. They love it.
Paige is trying to keep Sam from picking hers up.
My brother gave us one, and we use it just when we have company. I mean, Bruce and I don't go outside and sit in the cold.
Paige likes to go outside and sit with Jazz and let Jazz run around, which is her dog. Jazz is her dog. And so, Jazz doesn't really like to run around unless somebody's running around with her. And Antonio will go and run around with her. But Antonio also went, well, come with me, Mom. Come with me. So Paige will go and sit out and, light the fire and sit at the fire pit and, probably look at her Instagram or play with her phone or something. Maybe do homework.
Our fire pit has a propane tank on it, so it's really awesome. You can just turn the propane on and
there you go.
Match.
Hers doesn't have that.
Neither does Shyla's.
Yeah, she's got firewood and lighter fluid.
Yeah, that's what Shyla uses. I think Tim and Bruce are going to put a propane hookup on Shyla's. Oh, it just makes it nice because at least they can start the fire, and then when it gets going, you can turn the propane off if you want to. So,
yeah. And it's been cold here, so, I know we were crying about it, a couple of podcasts ago with it snowing in the whole 9 yards, but it's been really cold.
It's been like in the 20s.
It's been in the 20s, that's a big deal for us. We just don't get to the 20s. It just doesn't happen very often.
Right now, it's 54.
Yeah, so today's probably one of our warmest days, and Paige, I don't know what's going on with her thermostat or her heater at her house, but she called me 2 mornings ago, and she's near in tears, and she says, Mom, I don't know what's wrong. I can't read the thermostat. The screen's not lighting up. All I know is, the screen in the middle's not lighting up for her to select what she wants it to do, but the little numbers on the side are telling her what temperature it is, and it was 59 degrees in her house.
I like my house cold, but that's a little too cold.
She said her body hurt when she got out of bed to walk into the living room. So her bedroom's downstairs, right? It is. It's downstairs, and Antonio's is upstairs. But what I think happened is I think the whole heat just turned off. I don't think she had any heat. That was our coldest night. It got to 21 that night. Our coldest night, and her heat goes out. And so I picked up a new thermostat for her, and thankfully our electric company right now has a rebate going on, so we're going to get most of that money back. But I picked up a thermostat for her, and I went and installed it. And then she called me later, and she said, Mom, it's getting colder. And I thought, well, let me come over. So I went and looked, and I had one of the wire settings wrong, which was my fault. And so I redid the little wiring things and set it up, and I said, go into Antonio's room and tell me if you feel it. It's getting warm. Well, it was getting warm, but not a single other vent in the house had air blowing out of it. Only Antonio's room, and it was blowing out full steam. So we got a piece of cardboard, and I said, you get up there. It was high up, and she covered the vent with the cardboard. I said, now you hold it up there, and I'm going to go feel all the vents and see if it,
And you have made sure the other vents are open.
They are, yes. I know that's probably the first thing everybody has asked me. Are they open? And I'm like, yeah, they're open. Some of them don't even have the option to open or close. Some of them are just open. Like the one in Antonio's room, it's just wide open. You can't even filter it a little bit. So I told her I'd get her a new vent for that so you could kind of change it. Basically what she needs to do is she needs to close more of the vents upstairs so the heat really blows downstairs and then kind of rises, because Antonio's too hot upstairs and Paige is too cold downstairs, but none of the other ones had any heat coming out of it. So we were on the phone with the warranty company, and it was over an hour wait. And then I told her, I said, you need to call first thing in the morning. So last night I hardly slept because I'm envisioning them both waking up to 59 degrees in the house. And I'm kind of panicked. But we did get some heat going. And she did tell me this morning, she says, the heat in my room works. So the 2 bedrooms, there's 4 bedrooms in the house, but the 2 bedrooms that those 2 sleep in, they have the heat.
That's good.
But she says the living room is freezing cold, and it's got vaulted ceilings that kind of follow up with the stairs to the upstairs. So it's a pretty big area to heat. So we still couldn't. She was on the phone over an hour this morning on hold, trying to get through to the warranty company. So I went online and I scheduled a service online within like 2 minutes. And I had the whole thing scheduled. But they just don't have any like customer service reps to do it for you. They want you to just do it all online. It is very frustrating. I have a Twitter account and I don't tweet very often, but I tweeted and told that company, you guys need to get some more customer service representatives. I mean, not everybody can go online and schedule their appointment. I mean, apparently if you have them, you have to, unless you want to wait online over an hour, because page was on hold forever. But somebody's coming on Saturday, and we think it's the ductwork, actually, because, you know, there's heat coming out of 2 of the vents. There's nothing. They should have found that in her inspection. I think it recently, like, because she says it's worked before. Like, the whole house has cooled when she moved in October and needed air conditioning, and the house is, you know, heated up before. But it just, and I thought, well, maybe it's something I did with the thermostat. I asked everybody, I said, could installing a thermostat incorrectly cause some vents to not blow air? And everybody's like, no, that's ductwork. So I don't know if with the cold temperatures, you know, I don't know anything about stuff like that. I don't know if like, if it was old enough, or maybe there are more critters like that tried to get in, or, you know, I mean, like if she had a squirrel or something that busted up the ductwork. Because basically, because it's upstairs and the unit's upstairs, the ductwork coming off the plenum is going to the 2 rooms, and then the rest of it kind of all goes down to the other rooms downstairs. So the ductwork kind of like hangs. So if you've got, you know, 2 pieces of ductwork together that were taped, if the tape's getting old, or maybe with the cold freezing temperatures, it caused it to, I don't know, be more brittle or something. I mean, I don't know. And I know nothing about that stuff, but she has somebody coming on Saturday, so I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully it all gets fixed. But
well, Shyla, y'all know that Shyla has a zoo at her house. Well, my grandson saved his money and bought his first chinchilla. Well, then he wanted another chinchilla, so he saved his money and to buy a mate for, or not a mate, but a partner,
a companion,
a companion for Sir Furs-a-Lot. Well, Trenton found this chinchilla on Craigslist, and he contacted the lady, and Shyla told him it had to be a boy. You know, whatever he got, it was fine, but it had to be a boy.
Which is what Sir Furs-a-Lot is.
Because Sir Furs-a-Lot's a boy. So she, Trenton's talking to this lady, and this lady says she has a 2-year-old male. And, you know, Trenton and her talked back and forth for a week about this thing. And Shyla said that Trenton and her made the deal. Shyla took him to Hondo to pick up the new, and its name is Miko or something like that, pick up the new chinchilla. And she said that, you know, she was supposedly very knowledgeable about chinchillas. And she said that it could take, you know, a month to before they could, like, really start living together. They needed to be introduced slowly, blah, 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 all this stuff. Well, they've been doing that. And Shyla said that she put them together in Trenton's big cage. He has a 6-level chinchilla cage. Well, Sir Furs-a-Lot started acting like a real boy, and Shyla was like, what's the deal here? So she took the new one out and flipped him over to look, and yeah, it's a girl. It is
so
a girl.
So much for Miss Knowledgeable about her 2-year-old male.
And, you know, I told Shyla, I said, you should call her and tell her Trenton wants his money back, and, you know, go get a different one and stuff. And they've decided not to do that because Trenton's already kind of got attached to her. So Shyla's vet just hired on an exotic animal vet to be in his practice. So Shyla's going to go talk to him about getting Sir Furs-a-Lot neutered. So it's like, wow. Because Shyla's like, I don't want babies. And I told Shyla, I said, but have you seen the babies? And I sent Shyla this picture.
To make a bigger zoo?
Yeah. I sent Shyla this picture of this little baby chinchilla eating a Cheerio. And it was the cutest thing. And Shyla was like, Mama, you're not even helping a little bit. And it was so funny.
You know, you can go to this little info.
No, I don't.
Now scroll to all your pictures.
Oh, wow.
Teach her something.
Okay, see? Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, that's really cute. I'm going to have to insert
So
this.
it's a baby chinchilla eating a Cheerio. Now, why wouldn't anybody want a baby chinchilla eating a Cheerio?
I have no clue. I mean, everybody would just have to want one.
It's so cute. And Shiloh's like, Mama, you're not even helping me. But no, I didn't know you could do that.
Well, now you know. So then you go done, and it takes you back to your messages.
All right.
So.
Well, I need to send that to you, but I'll do that after the show.
Yeah. So.
But and Shiloh's like, oh, man. And I sent her that. I was like, isn't he cute? And she was like, yes, but no, we don't need babies. So.
Well, hopefully the chinchilla isn't all that expensive to get neutered, because Paige needs to get Jazz spayed.
Mm-hmm.
And Jazz is a Mastiff mix breed. She's not a small dog. Now, she's kind of small right now because she's a puppy. But, you know, they kind of go by weight or whatever. She got a quote from her vet. $400.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Can she take him to one of those
we have an
free clinic
She has an
things,
appointment with SNAP, which is Spay and Neuter Assistance Program, and on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So, but even there, it's $153.
Well, that's a lot better.
It's a lot better than $400.
Yeah.
I said, just get it done.
You want to get it done because you don't,
especially
want that
before
mess.
she has her first heat, and because if they're in heat, it's even more money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, or if they're pregnant, then it's even more money. But, so anyway, but that's, I hope that they're able to get that done soon so they can get introduced.
But me too. But it's, you know, and the research Shiloh did, they said that it's not advisable to like spay a chinchilla. I don't know why.
Maybe it's harder or more intricate, or who knows.
I don't know.
Or maybe, you know, just like, you know, with humans, you know, females sometimes need their parts or whatever for hormones and stuff, like to be a normal person. And
so they're going to try to do that. But then Shiloh, I tell y'all what, it's always something with Shiloh.
She's got a lot of stories about Shiloh this week.
So Shiloh's husband started a new job, and he got a new company pickup and all this stuff. So Shiloh has both of his cars. So they have 3 vehicles. Shiloh has a pickup. Tim has a dually pickup that he pulls his RV with, and they have a Jeep. Well, she was getting ready to go to work yesterday morning, and she had a flat on her pickup. And Tim's Jeep needs brakes or something, so she didn't want to take the Jeep, so she took the dually. And,
I hate dualies.
And so does she, I think. And she was taking my grandson over to his great-grandparents' house, Oma and Opa's, because Trenton, he's so sweet. He wanted to take Oma and Opa out for breakfast for Opa's birthday, and he wanted to pay for it. So he had his money, and he wanted to go take them out for breakfast. And then that night, he went over and he cooked them backstrap from one of his deer for supper.
That is so sweet.
Isn't that sweet?
Yes.
He's such a good boy. I'm gonna bring a tear to my eye. But anyway, Shiloh was taking them to Oma and Opa's, and Oma and Opa had already left to go to the restaurant. And Shiloh called Opa and said, "Okay, well, wait, don't order. Wait, let me get Trenton to you." So she was backing out of Opa's driveway. And Trenton told her, said, "Mama, you just ran over Opa's mailbox. You just flattened it." And Shiloh was like, "No, I didn't." And he was like, "Yeah, you did." Well, she didn't realize that the pickup was, you know, a dually is, you know.
It's extra wide. It has an extra set of 2 tires in the back.
So it's like really wide.
It's the pickup truck that's like this, and then it's got those 2 little bumps on the back end because it's got extra tires in the back. It's got dual tires on each side, which is why it's called a dually.
But, so she like, got out and looked. She was like, "Yep, sure did." So she went to the restaurant and told Opa, said, "Opa, I ran over your mailbox. I'm so sorry. I'll fix it when I get off work." So when she got off work, she went to Home Depot and bought a pole and bought some Sackcrete and went to her house and got her post hole diggers and stuff. And she went to Opa's, and she said that she was pulling out the old post, you know, trying to dig out the old post. And she said, "Mama, it was concreted plumb to China." She's like, "It was plumb to China. It was concreted." So she ended up hooking a chain to it and pulling it out with her pickup.
Wow.
So she did get the whole chunk of concrete out and stuff, and then she concreted the new pole in, and then today she installed the new mailbox onto the new pole. But
speaking of concreted straight to China, my mailbox broke many, many, many years ago, and my mailbox actually is a joint mailbox with my neighbor. So it's like I don't know if it's 1 stick or 2 stick, but it's a stick that comes up and then it kind of flattens out, and then you've got 2 little mailboxes, and so we both go to the same mailbox and get our mail. And I don't know what happened to it, but he was fixing it. I wasn't fixing it, but he was fixing it. And when he fixed it, apparently what they used to put it down is like, I want to say like a coffee can, but it's bigger than a coffee can. So it was like this, you know, this tin can or aluminum or whatever, and it was, you know, solid with concrete in it or whatever. It is still sitting out there because he's like, kind of like put it on my side, like, you can go ahead and throw this away. I can't pick it up.
I'm sure.
It is so heavy. And it's like, you know, it's like this, I mean, it's a bucket big enough. It's
well,
not
that's
like
kind of rude of him.
Well, he fixed the whole thing. So, but you know what? If he wants it moved,
he can move it.
I think it's been sitting there a year.
Well,
nobody's complained.
Well, Shyla, she got Opus fixed, and she told me, she said, I was scared to call Tim and tell Tim, because she like, you know, he's going to have to replace that bumper because it cracked the whole fiberglass on that bumper, and he told her, you know, that
shit happens.
Shit happens.
Sorry.
I didn't know if we could say that, but anyway, that is literally what he told her, not to worry about it. But she got all that fixed. And then she called me this morning, and she started telling me this story, and I could feel myself kind of getting anxious and kind of like freaking out a little bit. And I told her, I said, Shyla, you're going to have to like get to the point of this story.
Or I'm going to have a heart attack.
Because I am just about having a heart attack here. So, you know, get to the point. Her house got broke into.
That is so scary.
While she was
home.
And she said that she had taken some sleeping stuff because Tim was out of town. And you know, and I know from when Bruce used to work out of town, that first night when they're out of town, it's hard to sleep. She knew she was going to have a hard time sleeping. The kids weren't home. And so she took this night's time, you know, this sleeping stuff, and she went to bed. And she said, I was having these weird dreams like somebody was breaking into my house. And which I guess she weren't having dreams. She was like, her subconscious was telling her somebody's breaking into your house. And she said that the dogs woke her up. You know, she has 3 dogs. And she said about 3 o'clock in the morning she got up and she went, and the dogs were like kind of strategically placed down her hall. And Abby was on the front porch. Her Great Pyrenees lab dog was on the front porch. So, and the door was open. And she said, I thought, man, did I not shut the door? So she brought Abby in the house and she shut the door and she went to bed.
You're kind of discombobulated.
Well, you are.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You've had these crazy dreams and you're like, oh, wow, how did that door open?
Yeah. So she came, you know, brought Abby back in the house and she went to bed. And she said for the rest of the night, Abby was really like anxious. You know, she wouldn't leave the front door. And the people that broke in, they were smart to have not came in that house because Abby would have tore them a new one. But, so thank God for Abby. But she said that she didn't really realize that the house was actually broke into until she was leaving for work this morning, and she noticed that the locks on her door were punched out.
That is terrible.
That is so scary. And thank goodness the kids weren't home, because I was telling Carrie, their bedrooms are the first rooms when you come in the door. And then my son-in-law, you know, he's like out of town and freaking out, and I mean, and she was like telling me this, and I could tell that I wasn't, I mean, I could just tell that this story wasn't going in a direction that I was real happy about. And I finally told her, I said, you're going to have to get to the point, because I'm
about to die.
I'm about to die here. But she's okay, and she's a locksmith, so she replaced her locks and you know, stuff. So
that's not what she does for a living, but she is a jack of all trades.
She is just like her daddy and her brother.
Yeah, she can do anything. She can replace a toilet. She can fix a vacuum cleaner. She can
replace a mailbox that's buried to China.
She can do anything. If there's anything that needs to be done, she can. So yes, she can locksmith. She can.
But she does well.
Anything. Shyla's just amazing.
But she was a locksmith for about 5 years, and then, so she still knows. She's not licensed to do locksmith anymore, even though she can work under Bruce's license. But she does know how to do it.
I just didn't want them to think she was a locksmith, because I'm pretty sure we've talked about her camp before, and they're probably going to be thinking like, man, how many jobs does this girl have?
Yeah, she does. But Carrie's right. She can do literally anything.
Yeah.
You know, good way to get something done around the house is tell Shyla, I bet you can't do that. And then it's going to get done.
Yeah, I need to tell her that she can't do a few things around here.
But she is pretty crafty kid. But so.
I think you have some exciting news about Brittany.
Oh, yeah. So this is really exciting. I'm going to pick up my phone. I'm sorry, because I want to read y'all.
She's going to read the text.
I want to read the text from my son.
Yeah, from her son.
So y'all all know that my granddaughter is a motocross racer. And she rides for this team called Texas Boys. And she's the only girl on the whole team. So Casey sends me this message the other day, and he said, a female singer out of L.A. wants to do a music video with motocrossers, and they want to use Texas Boys because they have a girl on the team, and they're planning the shoot around Bryn's schedule.
That's amazing.
Isn't that the coolest thing? I think that's so
that
cool.
Is so amazing. Congratulations, Brynlee.
So yes, that is awesome.
That is very awesome.
But
I wonder who the singer is now.
I don't know. That's what Bruce said. And Bruce was like, I hope it's not that crap music that they use a lot of bad words and all this stuff.
As we're cussing on the podcast.
No.
Sorry about that.
So,
I don't know who it is.
But yeah, I don't know, but I'll try to find out. So,
all
but
right.
that's pretty exciting.
Well, before we jump into all the other knitting, I did want to, Darlene and I both wanted to thank everybody for all the comments on the crocheting, so Darlene can become the most experienced crocheter ever.
Yes, thank you. It was, and all y'all suggestions have been a big help, and I have great plans to become a great crocheter this year.
So much so that our first day back to work, so I think we've told you guys on the last episode, we are not buying any yarn. We are not buying any yarn. Now, I have told myself that if I make it to my 6-month mark, to June 30th, I will buy some yarn,
so
as a gift to myself.
But I did say that whenever, that when we made this thing that we weren't buying yarn, that I would be buying the yarn to make my bedspread.
Yes,
so
she did say she's making a bedspread.
Well, I haven't started yet, but I want to.
And it's going to be crocheted, and she's got the pattern and which yarn she wants to do and the whole 9 yards. She hasn't ordered it yet, but she can do that later. But she comes into work like the first day we're back, which is Tuesday, 2 days ago, and Darlene and I, we like instant message, and so she sends me a message and she says, I want to make a temperature blanket. Because, it's the end of the year and the beginning of the year, so you've got all these people showing either on, like, Facebook or Instagram or wherever, either their completed temperature blankets or the yarn that they have for their new temperature blankets and the whole 9 yards. So I didn't even say good morning to her. I was like, you cannot buy yarn for a temperature blanket.
She was.
Because she was like, I don't know if I have the yarn in my stash for a temperature blanket. I'm like, not happening.
So,
you can't do it.
And I didn't buy any.
She didn't.
But because Carrie was griping at me, I have been writing down the temperature every day.
All right.
So that if I can figure out in my stash how to do it in my stash,
and you can have any in my stash,
then I can start. Then I can make one. So I have been writing down the temperature. But look at this temperature blanket of. So this is one from Idaho. And Carrie can show.
And I can insert what I've been doing kind of is not always saying when I'm going to insert a picture. So if you're watching the podcast, sometimes you just might have to look up every once in a while.
But this is the one
I might be inserting a picture somewhere.
This one is from somebody that lives in Texas. Look how awesome that is.
Look at how red it is.
And orange.
It's always so hot. Red and orange. It looks great.
So,
those are my colors.
Yeah.
She's going to text both of these to me so I can look. There's like 4 stripes of blue in here.
So anyway, I may never get it done, but I am keeping the track of the temperature just in case I can do it without getting in trouble with Carrie.
Yeah,
and Tammy and Melissa.
She can't buy yarn.
So
I'm telling you.
But I can buy yarn for my Charlotte Dreams bedspread.
Yes.
So.
But if they end up coming out to the colors of your temperature blanket.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure that's a completely different colorway.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, what are you working on?
I finished Paige's socks, which I'll show in the finished objects in a minute. So I needed something to work on for the podcast, and I had intended to start some new socks so I would have podcast knitting. And I need to make some socks for my mom. I've already wound the yarn, and she wants these blue colors. And I was going to start them, but I haven't gotten them started, and it would be too hard for me to start it here on the podcast. So I pulled out my my boxy cape, and I just started a new row, but I can slip these stitches over and hold it up. So here it is. I don't think I've worked on it since I last showed it. I mean, I haven't moved my Progress Keeper either. But I thought, I kind of just looked at my Ravelry, at my projects to see what do I have that's just plain knit or knits and pearls. And I have this, and I have my Nuvum, which isn't very far along either. So I'm going to move my Progress Keeper right now. But, so I just pulled this out. It's my boxy cape with Malabrigo worsted in the Rhodesian colorway.
It's so pretty.
Orange is my favorite color, so I'm just absolutely loving it.
And I also want to start a pair of socks for the podcast, but I'm working on Shyla's Ricky hat, and I'm hoping to get it I really wanted to have it finished by now, but with Christmas knitting and stuff, I just didn't get it done. So hopefully I can get it done in the next week or so.
It'll be awesome.
So
it'll be awesome. While we're on whips, I started, and this is also for the cow, because I waited until whatever day I was supposed to wait till. I started.
Do you like those needles?
I do.
I need to order me some of those for Bruce's.
You need to try them first to make sure that you like them. So these are those new Addi, they're called a couple of different things. Flexi Flip Sticks, or they've also been called Crazy Trio or something. You get 3 of them, and it's like a DPN and magic loop kind of at the same time. Yeah, so I started, I'll insert a picture, but I started my sister's, just the cuffs, for her sleeves. This is the yarn that I recently got.
I really like that yarn.
And it's Cascade 220 and like red wine or heather wine or red something, garnet wine something. Paige picked the color. My sister said surprise me. She just said red. I said, do you want the same as Daddy's? And she said surprise me. So Paige picked this out. And my sister did say she definitely wanted more towards brick red than candy apple. So this is what Paige picked out. But I am enjoying these Crazy Trios or Flexi Flip Sticks or whatever they're called. They are sold out everywhere. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. I do have another set coming from Fiber Wilds. I ordered them in November and still haven't been. And in that order, I have sock sizes. Just one sock size, 2.5 millimeter. So I'm hoping to be able to do my socks on that. And then I just have these size 8s, which really are only for the cuffs. But our portage is on size 8, so I'm hoping to do our sleeves with these things. But you can take some to give them a shot and try them. But I am enjoying them. I do like them.
That's good.
Yeah. So.
Well, since we're talking about whips, I am still working on. I finished a bunch of blankets, for my family for Christmas. And we'll talk about that during the finished objects, but. This is for my nephew Shannon, and he picked out the colors. So it's just going to be...
This smells really good.
It's just going to be red, black, and white. And
I love it.
I think he
I love the colors.
Thank you. So I'm hoping to get this done in the next week or so he can... Because, I see him quite a bit, and so when he stops in town, he can pick it up. So, and then my other... I don't know if I brought Bruce's sweater. Oh yeah, I did. Sure have. So I'm still working on Bruce's sweater, and I have started the sleeves. So I haven't got a whole lot. I'm about ready to start the short rows on.
It looks great. I'll insert pictures as always.
But I want to get, I really want to get this finished for him, but I've got to get...
I think this is where she was last time.
Yeah, so it hasn't, it's
about
barely...
an inch and a half.
It's barely got touched because of all the blankets, the Christmas stuff, but I told him that once I got Shannon's blanket done, then I would get back on this, because I really want to get it finished so I can, move on, to other things. So.
I understand. My other whip is our crazy-ass brioche blanket we're making. So I think we mentioned it last time. I inserted pictures of Darlene's basket of goodness, and she's using her hippo yarn, and I'm using a bunch of reds and oranges, and purples and different things from Stash, and I'll try and I will insert pictures here.
And here's mine. This pattern's going to kill me.
Yeah, she's
I'm really struggling with it.
Loving the brioche, but I think once she gets the pattern showing, just a couple more rows, and I think it'll be easier for her. So, and I'll snap some pictures of that and get those inserted in there. And then I think all I have after that are finished objects.
Well, I have a couple more. I have, I'll talk about that one. But this is Shyla's sweater that I started. I haven't hardly done anything on it, but I want to get back to it too. This is the color work one that I'm going to stick on the show.
Oh yeah.
So I really want to get this done because I am dying to
I'll put a link in the show notes to the pattern and take a picture of that little bitty ribbon.
But I want to try to like get, work on Bruce's and this one at the same time because I really want to get this going.
Just don't let Bruce see you working on that.
I know, right? So, and then that's all I have other than whips and things I want to make.
And now, as far as finished objects, Darlene has some that were already gifted, and I will insert pictures of those. That was for Shyla and Peyton.
And Cecilia. Well, she hasn't got hers yet.
Yeah,
so,
we haven't done hers yet. And
Shyla
so
and
just
Peyton.
2 people have been recipients so far. And so I have some pictures that Shyla sent me that I'll insert and show those blankets, and they loved them, of course. I mean, who wouldn't love a blanket like that? And then Darlene also finished Brinley's sweater, but she forgot to bring that. She had it out in the living room, but like I said, we're podcasting on a Thursday, so we're a little bit off, and she had to lug everything to work and then come here and
I'm hoping to never, ever, ever make that sweater again. I've made 3 of them, and I don't ever want to finish and make another one.
And I haven't made pages. I mean, I have the back done, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I'm going to ask her how much do you really, really love it, and if she doesn't really, really, really love it, then I might just rip it and use the yarn for something else. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, it might make a nice blanket. And then Darlene also has a finished blanket that she did. Okay, now, I don't know if you can see this, but do you see those needles right there in the picture?
Oh my gosh.
These sticks right here.
I don't know where you're pointing.
Well, it's in the camera, but it's
those.
Okay. It's those right there.
Oh my gosh.
If I'm pointing, I'm like pointing right here.
Okay.
So, Darlene, those are size 50s, and Darlene's niece is expecting and is also a photographer, and talked to Darlene last week and said, hey, can you make a blanket like this? And I'll insert a picture, and I need it next week. And Darlene's like, well, I certainly can try. And basically what she did was she held this Bernat in 4s. She held 4 strands together with those size 50s.
It was
and
horrible.
She just did, knit 1 row, purl 1 row, knit 1 row, purl 1 row, just to have a nice stockinette look. And so she's going to use it for photography, but she's also going to use it for her baby that she thinks is coming this week. So, Darlene told her and did you take a picture of it so I can insert the actual?
I didn't.
I think I have a picture of her working on it.
I have it on the needles. I can ask Kylie to send me. I'll see if Kylie will send me. She should have it by now. I will ask her to take a picture and send it to me so I can give to you.
Okay. And so I'll try and get that inserted in here. If I don't get it in time, then we'll definitely have it at least in the show notes and in her project page.
It was so funny. I'd work on it for a while, and then when my hands were just killing me, I would put it down and go back to working on Brinley's sweater, which is on size 19s. And I mean, it would feel like those 19s were
2s.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was crazy how, I was complaining about how my hands hurt on those size 19s, and then how good those 19s felt after working on those 50s. Those 50s were, they were terrible.
The reason I have those sticks, poles, ski things, whatever, I made a blanket for Paige with those a year or so ago, and I held not 4 strands of this, but 4 strands of a Knit Picks yarn that's not this thick. And
I was a little frustrated because the blanket that she wanted something that was, you'll see when Carrie inserts the picture, but it's real fluffy and kind of like that one that you made, that big roving blanket that you made.
Yeah, we make big roving blankets where it looks like you're knitting with roving.
And it's just like, it looks like a cloud. Well, that's the look she was wanting. And I told her, I said, I can't just go to Hobby Lobby and buy that. I mean, I would need a few weeks to order that and get it here.
When she told me that that Kylie wanted this, I said, well, what color does she want? And of course Kylie wanted white or off-white. I have enough of that to make a blanket in taupe, but it's in taupe. It's not in white or off-white. So I thought, well, that's not going to work. But that's what I was, going to make Paige's, sweater with. But
she got what she got, and I told her, I said, next time give me a little bit of more notice, and maybe I can give you really what you want. Because I know it's not what she wanted, but it was the best I could do.
Yeah.
So
that was nice.
But,
and then I, like I said, I did finish Paige's socks.
They look great.
She was at the house when I finished them, and she was like, yay, I get to take them home. And I said, nope, I got to show them on the podcast.
Yeah,
so
I love them.
But I'll probably see her tomorrow because I usually get Antonio on Fridays, and so I'll be able to give them to her tomorrow. And then, like we've been saying, or I've been whining and crying, it's been cold. And when it has been so cold, I've been going to work in the morning and my hands are cold. And I realized I don't have any mitts for myself. I've made a few pairs of fingerless mitts and gifted them. Not a whole lot. I'm not a big gloves or fingerless mitts knitter, but I have made a few and gifted them, but I didn't have any for myself, so I thought I need a pair of mitts for myself so I don't have to touch the cold steering wheel. I work about 4 miles from my house, so my car doesn't even have a chance to warm up by the time I get to work, but that steering wheel is cold. So I started these mitts. I looked through my stash and to see what I had, and I have some pictures that I can insert, but what I love about them, I made the top part, which is up here, this part up here, I made it longer. So if I'm wearing this one, I can wear it and kind of like cover my fingers, and that's how I would touch the steering wheel. But if I actually had to do like some typing or something, I could fold it down. So this is, I could go all the way up or I can fold it down.
That's a good idea.
And so you could wear them, it's the same pair of mitts and I could wear them either way. And I've been wearing them all week and I love them. I'm thinking of making some more. I just used a pretty simple pattern that was free on Ravelry. I think they're called Peekaboo mitts. And I just adjusted them a little bit to do a little bit more ribbing and change where I started and stuff. So, I have some other self-striping worsted yarn in my stash that I may use and make a couple more of these. So,
awesome.
But I really do love them. So that's my other FO and my only other FO. So I do love those. And then Darlene has some plans for what a knitter wants.
Yeah. So I want to make my husband, when I saw this, I don't know where I saw this.
It was on The Voice. Adam Levine was wearing a really awesome sweater that was kind of a little bit more Santa Fe, Indian type looking, and it was like blues and whites and reds. Beautiful. It was beautiful. And Darlene tried to find a pattern like it, but this is not exactly like it, but it's kind of similar a little bit.
Oh, interweave is where so I got an interweave ad, I think is what it was.
Oh, okay.
And this sweater was on there. It's a brand new pattern. I don't even think there's any projects in Ravelry with it yet.
Wow, I thought this is what you found when you were trying to find that Adam Levine sweater.
No, I never found anything. And then I found this. This is
I'll take a picture
2017,
of this.
The winter edition of Interweave. And that pattern just came out. And so I loved it. I thought, that is so pretty. I think Bruce would really like that. And so I ordered the exact, and I ordered this this was a few months ago when I found this pattern. But I ordered the exact yarn that pattern is made out of. And it is made out of, I don't know who it's made out of. Watershed Yarns.
Watershed.
And so I got all the colors. There's 4 colors. There's a dark brown, a tan, and a gray. and then
put
this,
them together,
and then this red,
and snap a picture.
and
She's
so
got bags of stuff.
yeah,
over here.
and it's the exact yarn that this one that I mean I bought
that's gonna be exciting.
I know I can't wait.
to
I
see
can't
you
wait
make
to
that.
make it. I think
Can't wait
Bruce
to
will
see you
really
make
really
that.
like it.
Does he know you're making
Yeah,
it?
he
Okay.
does. Yeah. And then
It's kind of hard to make something for Bruce and him not know about it because he's right there.
Well, yeah, he's always right there. I'll tell him the other
And
day.
he pays attention.
Oh, he pays way good attention. He amazes me sometimes. And then I want to make my grandson a blanket out of these.
Oh, this is going to be great. This is for
Because
Trenton.
Trenton is the only one now at his house that don't have a Bernat crocheted blanket. Tim and Shyla and Peyton all have one. So, and Tim, he was like, yeah, y'all have one now, but I got the first one. You know, he got his last year for Christmas. He was like,
Of course, he has to rub that in.
I got the first one. Which he did get the first one.
He did. Super special.
So I want to make Trenton that and make Bruce that. And
I have one thing that's coming up for me, and it is a fornicating deer hat. I know a lot of people, at least I've seen a few people on podcasts making this new fornicating deer hat where it has like these perfectly looped trees. I think Carrie from Creative Obsession was talking about them, and Michelle from Naughty Knitwits. This is an old pattern. I've made Jaime this hat.
I've made several of these too, and I like this pattern.
I like this pattern too, and this is a free chart. I just changed it a little to show my increases, so when I'm working on it, and I changed the bottom deer to not have any antlers, because it's meant to be reindeer, and I think both male and female have antlers for reindeer, but Jaime wanted his, and I think I made it like 3 years ago for him. He wanted his bottom deer not to have any, so Jaime has a friend named Nick that goes out to the deer lease with him. They're on the lease together, and recently Nick shot a hog and had it processed, and told Jaime, this is too much meat. If you want some of this meat, you want to split the cost, I will split it with you. And so we went and saw him. He recently moved about an hour away farther south, so we don't see him very often because he's an hour away. But Jaime sees him at the lease, and so we went to go pick up the hog meat, and we went out to eat, and him and his girlfriend and Jaime and myself, and we were sitting and chatting, and Jaime wore his hats. He has two. He has one in brown and white, and he has one in black and orange for the Harley colors. The black and orange one's a little bit too big. I think I've loosened my gauge a little bit since I knit the first one from like 2 or 3 years ago. But he wore his brown and white one to a restaurant in Junction, which is where the deer lease is. And he doesn't usually wear it out. He wears it when he hunts, but like I said, it's been so cold, he actually kept his hat on and went out to eat with the hat on. And so a couple of people had, kind of pointed and snickered or were like whispering and laughing or whatever. So Jaime was telling that story to Nick during lunch and said, I might even make the, Junction newspaper, kind of teasing or whatever. And Nick said, yeah, I want one of those hats. And, he looked at me and he's a nice guy. And so I said, all right, I'll get on that. So I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use because I'm not buying yarn. I know I have some white, but I don't know what other colors I have to go with it. So, but I'm sure I'll find something in my
might
stash.
have some brown.
And
if you want brown.
Yeah, be able to make that for him. So that's the only other thing that I have with my mom's socks I have planned, and I have that planned. And I think that's it. Darlene does have a couple more things that we'll talk about on the next podcast that she's gifting this weekend, but she can't show yet. And we have a giveaway.
We do. So Lisa from Fiber Nymph Dye Works.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, thank you. She sent us a ton of stuff.
She did.
And Carrie will take pictures of everything. But we're going to kind of spread the giveaways out. So the first giveaway is going to be, because it's winter and we're all freezing here, this beautiful hat kit.
I think it's called Xenolith. How do you pronounce an X?
I think you said it right.
Xenolith. Xenolith.
And I just think that's so beautiful.
Again, there'll be pictures.
So I think, we would like people to go to Lisa's shop and tell us what you like in Lisa's shop.
Yeah, I'll open a thread.
But, you know, Lisa, I mean, she sent us, we'll be doing several different giveaways because she did send Carrie and I each something. And we haven't decided quite what we're going to keep and what we're going to give away. So I think we won't show everything until we make that decision.
Right.
But we did agree that we would give this away because this is such a beautiful kit. So
thank you, Lisa,
yes,
so
thank
much.
you
We really, really
very
appreciate
much, Lisa.
it. So yeah, we haven't had a giveaway in a while, so we're really, really excited to do that. So I'll open that thread, and
she is on Big Cartel. So I mean, not that it matters.
I'll put a link to her shop when I open the thread, and also put a link in the show notes. What else was I going to say? Oh, I've seen lots of people starting things for our first ever Cal, which is super exciting.
I need to start something for that. Maybe I should start Bruce's sweater.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Maybe I should.
And I'm doing my sister's Ranger, and of course I already finished the mitts. I put that in there. A friend of ours, Melissa, made a beautiful hat with Lemonade Shop yarn, and
oh my gosh, that was so
her daughter
pretty.
Audrey is getting that hat, and it looks super cute on Audrey. So I've seen a couple other people post in there what they're going to be doing, and we want you to keep posting pictures and stuff like that. And then a few are double dipping, which we're super excited about, over in the Bag Spa Awesome Granny group, you know, for the Sal, which is the stash along. Go over there, and if you've got anything in stash that, you know, you're working with, and I think we did say it before, and I think I might have put it in the notes there. As long as the yarn was purchased prior to December 31st, even if you do not have it in your hands yet, and it's coming, even if it's a February kit, a surprise kit for February or March, the Sal is going on for 6 months, so you can use any of that. And the Knitter's Gotta Knit podcast, Cal, does not require stash. You can do anything with that one. So even if you don't have it yet, you can still use it, whatever you've got planned for that. So I had a few people ask those questions, so I wanted to clarify that. And
we really want to we want to get our stash down this year. So so we're going to try to be doing some different things through the year, you know, with stash. Stash,
and more stash. And no buying yarn.
Yep.
No buying yarn. I have put my own caveat in there that if I'm good for 6 months, I think I deserve buying something.
Well, I agree, and I will go along with that too.
But I think that's all we have for our regular podcast. I know that Darlene has some bags to show for her shop, and we showed some the last time, and then these are already in the shop, so we're going to show that if you're interested. But if you're not, we hope you had a fabulous New Year, and we'll see you in a couple weeks with Peyton.
Yeah, Peyton will be here. We're super excited about that,
and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I was going to say, wait. So, I only have 2. These were the 2, you know, I'd said that on the last one that I had a couple that that hadn't got made up yet. And these are 2. And we actually still have 1 more that we still haven't made, but maybe I'll show it the next time. But this one is just a cute little knitted.
I love this material.
And
I just love this material.
I like it too. And it's got a red polka dotted lining on the inside.
And as always, pictures will be inserted somewhere along here.
And then this one is I have another sweater bag that's green with a pink zipper, and this is just the opposite. And the other one has pink polka sweaters on the green background. This one has the green on the pink background. I think it's just really, really cute.
They're opposites. So.
And that's it. That is it.
This one's going to be lost in my yarn room.
That could happen.
All right, guys. That's all we have. So thanks for watching. I hope I get this up tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm hoping pretty soon.
Rush. I mean, it's almost 6:30.
Yeah. So anyway.
All right. Thank y'all.
Bye.